all right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bar Table Talk. I'm your host, Skittles, and my co-host,
Shy.
This is the space where we talk about real life, real conversations, and what's happening now. Let's get into the local news and the shout-outs with Shy.
All right. Well, for those of you who may be from Moreno Valley, or you went to Moreno Valley High School back in the day and you used to hang out at the Moreno Valley Mall, the Moreno Valley Mall is closing down.
Well,
they say temporarily, but we all know it's gonna be permanent.
It's gonna end up like the Carousel Mall in San Bernardino.
Oh my god!
I know, right?
That is the saddest place.
Now, I mean, I think I went there one or two times back in 2000.
I remember going when it was like a big thing. I got on the carousel that was in the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
I was like a kid though. I was probably like 10.
Yeah. But, well, sorry to hear that Mobile Mall. Yeah. Well, let's be honest. The main malls to me is the Tyler Mall and Ontario Mills.
Yes. So, yeah, they really are. Yeah. Like the Moreno Valley Mall was going down. It's been going down for a long time. So.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they could put something there that's beneficial to the community. So
like a water park. I don't know.
No, we got enough water parks. Yes, we do. We got. Yeah, you do. Well, I think there's one in Orange County, and then.
Yeah, there's one in Orange
and then
County.
San Dimas.
Okay.
But let's be honest, do you really want a water park in Moreno Valley?
That's true. It'll be dirty as fuck.
We're not saying the people out there is dirty. That's not what we're saying. We're just
I'm just saying that, let's just face it, Moreno Valley is ghetto. I can say that because I used to live there. Mm-hmm. And what happens when you put a water park in a ghetto city?
I know.
A whole bunch of babies wearing diapers all up in
the
pool.
When you say
you're gonna
that,
have people fully clothed talking about I'm
baby
just
kids
in the pool. I'm just like the water just gonna be dirty as fuck.
Like that movie, Baby Kids.
Exactly. It's not. The rules are clearly written. Nobody's giving a fuck about.
So. Let's move on.
No. Next in the news today.
Okay.
We are making history.
Yes, we are.
Y'all, woo! Okay. First black woman to win a gold medal with the USA team.
Okay. Let's give a water applause. Yes.
Team USA defender Layla Edwards made history at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. The 22-year-old Ohio native became the first Black American woman to win a gold medal in women's hockey, which is brutal because we have watched it. But I love watching it. When the United States beat Canada 2-1 in overtime on Thursday night.
Wow, that's crazy.
Go, Layla! And then also, all right, in NASCAR.
Yes.
As of February 2026, there has not been an African-American woman who has won a race as a driver in NASCAR Cup Series. Mm-hmm. Brianna Daniels is recognized as the first African-American woman to work as a tire changer. She's a part of the pit crew in a NASCAR Cup Series for the pit crew.
Thank you, girl.
Yes.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Exactly. But I know she's in the pit crew.
Yeah.
But just so you know, Tia Norfleet has been recognized as the first Black woman licensed to drive in NASCAR. So we're in the pit crew.
We are.
And we're driving.
Yes, we are.
Okay? That's for you guys.
Yeah, that's for you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
And that is all for the news.
That's all. No shout outs, no nothing.
No shout outs. Just keep going out there supporting the Farmhouse Collective on University.
And just giving back to your community. Like,
give back to your community.
A lot of people don't nowadays, and it's so sad. But you have, for instance, I'm gonna use rappers and all them streamers. You have all them doing nonsense, but yet not going back in communities. But there is some that does go back to the community, and I thank them for that. I think the game when it was Thanksgiving, I think he bought a bunch turkeys. Yeah. And then somebody else, I forgot the name. They actually gave away like PS5s to the kids and stuff like that. So, kudos to the game and all them. They're giving back to their communities because the communities gave to them when they didn't have nothing. Exactly. So this episode is actually what's funny is I was at work, right? Shy. So, we got one more week in Black History, I know 28 days is just not enough. So I go to one of my, I guess you could say, colleagues, they in facilities or whatever. So we're talking and we're just talking, but he was just like, he Caucasian, and he was like, well, ain't Black history American history? And I was like, no. So, he goes into the story talking about like, one of his friends, she dated an African American, her parents disowned her and stuff like that. But he also had like this African American dude that used to watch out for him when he was little and stuff like that. And he was just like, yeah, I loved him like he was my father and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. And then he was just like, then he gets into, African Americans have slaves too. And I was like, hold on. You don't know your history. Mm-hmm. Because if you did, why did we have slaves?
Well, we're going to get into
Yes,
that.
We will. So first of all, he got into privilege. He's saying that we're being racist towards privileged people because he said now you getting into, privilege means white. I said, we never said that. We never said that. Then
we're saying that white people do have privileges that we do.
Exactly. So we'll get into that too. Shay ready to go. Shay ready to go. So we're gonna get it. And then he talked about property. I had told him, so my great grandma, she was in full Native American, lived in Oklahoma, and I had said the government took her property. You know what he gonna say? He was like, well, she should have put up a border or something like that. So
nobody give a fuck about borders.
Nobody back then. They still took
I want
the land. So we're gonna get into property ownership. Yeah. What privilege really mean? And then Sasha gonna come in with.
I'm gonna get into that comment he made about Africans having slaves. I'm gonna get into what that really comes from.
Yes.
The context of it all. Yes. And then we're gonna talk about systemic racism today, which is the fight that we're facing right now. Because people are like, why are you guys so bent out of shape about slavery? That was old. That's not the fight we're fighting right now. What we're fighting right now is systemic racism.
Yes.
Today and every day of our lives that we face still because of what happened in our history. So we're going to get into that.
Yes. So let me bring up enslavement, property, but not property owners. Before, and we did our research, we went into a deep dive because
we're gonna try to condense
that colleague got me fucked up. So he got both of us fucked up.
Yeah, I hope he's watching this.
I hope he's listening.
Very educational.
No, this is
school today.
So before 1865, Black people in America were classified, legally classified as property. Not what, Shay?
Not individuals,
Thank
American
you.
citizens.
Thank you. Under slave code, enslaved Africans had no legal right to own land, worth, or build assets. The economic foundation of the United States was built on unpaid black labor. Yet the people generated the work were denied ownership. Let that sit in for a second.
So everybody else was out there like, I bought me some house, I got this land, I got me 40 acres.
I can build on this land.
But we couldn't do it.
No, the fuck we can't.
Time. We had to fight for that right.
Exactly. So let's talk about the 40 acres and a move. And a move.
Huh? We never got that. We never got.
Exactly. Oh, that's not the girl. No, he said something else that is gonna piss us the butt.
Oh my God.
He said, "Why? What is that? When they owe us money? What is it? Relations?" He said, "Where's their? Where's their?" Because he's saying, okay, so he's Irish. That's what he's saying. He's saying he's Irish and stuff like that. And he was like, well, the Irish people was enslaved too and did this. And he's like, where's ours? And I'm like,
first off, we didn't get those reparations.
So why are we talking about
So why are we talking about this? We didn't get them. You talking about what you didn't get. You didn't get it. We didn't get it. No, so we got something in common.
Right. Shit.
What the hell?
Right, on this Saturday.
Tell me one person who got some reparations, because nobody did.
Please. And if you watching this, comment and tell us who got it. Please. So after the Civil War, General Williams issued special field order number 15, promising land enslaved families. The idea of the 40 acres in the middle symbolized independence. But after the president, Andrew Johnson, reversed the order, most of the land was returned to former landowners. Instead of a land ownership, many freedmen were pushed into a system wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so basically, the 40 acres and a mule is kind of like, it's a sad joke now.
It is.
In African American culture, because it was something that was said that we were actually going to get. Then he basically revoked it and was just like, actually,
they ain't getting shit.
No, you're not getting nothing.
We ain't getting a motherfucking thing.
And it returned all of that to former landowners who were non-African Americans, by the way.
Thank you.
So they took all of it back, and we were all free men and women at this time, and they took what we thought was ours back.
Yeah. Can you hit number 3 for me, Shay?
Okay. So, Black prosperity and destruction. Despite systemic barriers, Black communities built wealth. A powerful example is Greenwood District in Tulsa.
Yes.
And if you know, you know. So, in Tulsa, known as Black Wall Street, this was a Black community, you guys. The land was ours. The businesses were ours.
Yes.
They were run. It was a city for us, by us. Okay. Mm-hmm. In 1921, the Tulsa Race Massacre destroyed over 1,000 homes and Black-owned businesses, property, generational wealth, and the land were all wiped out with little to no compensation. This wasn't just violence. It was economic erasure.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And Tulsa wasn't the only case. Black property was frequently targeted in places where prosperity threatened white supremacy. Now, mind you, these people were minding their own business. Okay? They weren't over there boasting like, look at what we got. you ain't got it. Okay, because like we're like, we're safe here.
Yes.
Oh, don't have to worry about the KKK trying to get me. Like, I love living here. And then someone just kind of strolled in and was just like, "Oh, y'all think you doing good? We about to change that."
Exactly. So that's done. And it's crazy because this reason why the conversation I had with this colleague, this is the reason why we need to know our history. And that's why I went back and said, oh, I'm going to talk about this on a podcast. Because and you want to know where he lived at? I had told him, I said, look where you live at. Mm-hmm. You're a Caucasian white man with a bald eagle on your chest. And you live in North Cole. I'm like, and you over here trying to give me history. Bitch, I know my history. Like,
I don't even understand it. Right. But I mean, it's crazy. And honestly, actually, recently, one of the survivors from the Tulsa massacre. Yeah. I believe she's like I think she passed away. She was 106. Wow. But she was not the only one. There's one more person. Who they were one of the survivors from that massacre. And I'm just like, wow. Like I appreciate that there was someone who lived to tell the story. Yes. Because I'm sure people would have wanted to pretend like that never happened. Of course. Like, because it wiped out a whole city. Yeah, it did. Who does that? It did. For what?
For no reason. Because they was threatened.
They were threatened by the success of these people that they thought were nothing.
Yes. So let's get into the redlining and legal segregation. In the 1930s, federal housing policy discrimination, the homeowners loan corporation created maps that mark black neighborhoods in red, labeling them hazards for loans. This practice, known as redlining, blocked black families from mortgage.
Yeah, from owning homes.
Exactly. Fair interest rates, the FHA backed loans, suburban property growth. Meanwhile, white families were building equal in suburbans across America. Home ownership is one of the main drivers of generational wealth in the U.S. Being locked out for decades create a gap that combines over fucking time.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not to say now there were people who did own homes. Like, you know, you think about some of the people like Madam C.J. Walker. Yeah. But these people had to basically come up with all the money and just be like, I'm not going to get a loan. I'm just
they can't walk in our damn bank.
Here's the money. I'm paying for it. Because trying to get a loan was basically impossible.
Yes. And how did they get that money? They worked their ass
off to get the whole amount for the house.
Yes. They wasn't giving us nothing. They wasn't letting us borrow nothing.
No.
So let's get into the GI Bill and unequal access. After World War II, the GI Bill helped veterans buy homes and attend college. But black veterans were often denied loans and access through discrimination, local practice. So while one generation was building middle class stability, many black families were still excluded.
They were denied that right.
Right. But it was okay for them to go fight for this motherfucking country, though.
Yeah. They were like,
keep that in mind.
Die for the country.
Keep that in mind. You feel me?
I'm not going to give you anything for it.
But when you come back home, from fighting for this country that we call USA, we ain't giving y'all shit.
We're not giving you nothing.
But y'all survived the Civil War. But they couldn't even give us a fucking land.
Some land, just some land, yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. Woo. Okay. Let me calm myself.
We have a lot of points.
We really do. Okay, so the modern worth gap. Today, the black ownership rate still lags successfully behind the white household. Properties ownership affects school districts funding, business loans, generational inheritance. When land ownership is denied, for centuries, the financial impact doesn't disappear overnight. Ain't that about something? Girl. I was so mad. I was mad the whole day when he. And then what's funny is I wasn't the only one over there. It was another colleague, and he was Hispanic. And I'm like, he's just like, oh, when he said, oh, ain't Black history American history? And I was like, no. Do you think the Hispanic said anything? He didn't say nothing. He closed his mouth.
He was like, I'm not going to talk about that.
Right, because your history, you're white, I'm Black, he's Hispanic. His Hispanic history is not my history. My history is not that.
You all have different histories.
We all have different histories.
Yeah.
But he was not going to get into that. And I didn't say nothing. I was just like, okay. I didn't say nothing because I'm not going to go there, and plus I was at work. Yeah. So, but I'm going there today.
Okay.
Today. Okay. Go on, Shy.
Okay. So I'm going to do a bit of a history lesson for a little bit because I think that this is actually, people have kind of mentioned this a little bit, and I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about it, and people are just like, well, African Americans didn't have slaves, but in Africa,
yes,
we're going to talk about what it looked like actually in Africa, where they were taking ships over there, putting us on a boat, taking us to the Americas. What was really going on?
Exactly.
All right, so slavery within Africa before the Europeans arrived, okay? Long before European involvement, various African societies practiced forms of slavery. Okay. These systems were usually different, though, from racial chattel slavery in the Americas. So there is a difference. So how criminals became enslaved. In some societies, people convicted of serious crimes like theft, murder, adultery, and debt default could be enslaved as punishment. Yes. So see, this wasn't like just forcing someone who did absolutely nothing wrong to work for you for free. No. Right, no. These people were paying their debt to society, if you will. Instead of execution, a court or ruler might sentence someone to servitude, which is slavery. Enslavement could also be used to settle debts or compensate victims' families. So maybe someone had like a gambling problem, they didn't run all this debt, now you owe $10,000. They're like, okay, well, you're going to work it off. Yeah, I think, and I'm glad that you're sharing this because he mentioned, he was like, well, y'all had slaves too. Y'all enslaved your own people. No. It's very different. It's very different. Okay, so, in this practice existed in some kingdoms known as the Oyo Empire, the kingdom of Dahomey, and the kingdom of Benin. Yeah. In many cases, these enslaved people worked in households or on a farm, could sometimes marry or eventually gain freedom, were not enslaved based on their race, or sometimes in Africa it would be based on your tribe, because there were definitely tribes that were like disliked and things like that. Yeah. Okay, so Africans selling people to the European slave traders. Let's talk about that. Please do. When Europeans began the Atlantic slave trade in the 1400s through to the 1800s, they did not typically raid deep into Africa themselves. Instead, they purchased captives from American intermediaries. Oh, that's a word. Yeah. So basically, we're just gonna summarize that for a second there. They would, instead of going in and trying to be like, sniper and ninja style and just try to kidnap people, because one, like, let's be honest, they were outnumbered. Yeah. And they were like, we might all die. Yeah. They had guns, and yes, Africa did not have guns at that time, but they could fight very well. So they would have lost some men still. So instead, they went and they would with who was like the king and queen, the royalty, in that kingdom, they spoke with them about, like, because people were trading. Yeah. You got to think about, this is very much like this is trading. People are bartering for goods and services, right? So they were kind of looking at this as like, okay, we're gonna take we're gonna take your criminals, your captives, people who are working off their debt. We're gonna take those people. How much you want for those people? Yeah. And that's kind of what was going on. They were usually, so they usually spoke with African kings, military leaders, coastal traders, things like that. Yeah. Some of the major African states involved included the Kingdom of Congo, the Kingdom of Dahomey, and the Ashanti Empire. Were they selling criminals? Sometimes they were selling criminals. Yeah. But like I said before, sometimes they were selling people who owed a debt. Yeah. So not just criminals, some of them just owed a debt. The majority of the people sold in the Atlantic slave trade were, like I said, prisoners who were owing a debt or things like that, or criminals who committed murder or adultery. Yeah. I hope you guys are listening to the fact that adultery was a crime. That's crazy though, because if people were getting put in jail for that right now today, they would have to build like 500 more prisons. Exactly. Y'all would be in trouble. Okay, I'm sorry. The important context. Yeah. European traders created massive demand for enslaved labor in Americas. African participation does not remove European responsibility for organizing, financing, transporting, and radicalizing slavery. The Atlantic slave trade transformed local African slavery systems into something much more brutal and on a larger scale. The system became commercial, international, and racialized in ways that were different from many of the early African practices. Now, what became of it was changed by the fact that, like, at first it was just like, okay, you can take these people that are already working here. We're giving money for those people. Those people that were taken, never came back to Africa. Yep. They stayed in the Americas and were treated poorly, killed, raped. Their debt was never paid because they just kept them in slavery. Yeah. That's not what happened in Africa. Once your debt was paid, you were free. You were free to go. That's it. And like it became very inhumane. Yeah. And because of the free labor and how the Europeans were benefiting from this free labor, it became like more and more, like everybody's like, okay, we need more of them. We need more of them. Then that's when it started becoming like, we're just going to go in and take them now. Yeah. We're just going to take them. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it went way out of hand. It got way out of hand. Yeah. So, yeah. So, even though criminals could be enslaved as punishment, African leaders and traders did not intend to treat them as they were like not human beings, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's a little bit about how, the thought of this, how it kind of started, just a little background on that, and how it was definitely distorted and changed when it came to the Americas. Yeah, of course. But, that was probably erased from history. They probably just told people that, oh yeah, they enslaved their own people too, and then they fucking ran with it. Get the fuck out of here. Get on my death. I hate when people don't know their goddamn history. But anyways, exactly. But let's get back to the property. I'm sorry. One thing I wanted to mention is that the movie Woman King.
Yes, love that movie.
It sheds light on that.
Yes, it does.
It's mentioned in there. It talks about that. Woman King. Yes. Love the movie, by the way. Yes. It's a good movie. But you could see kind of how the Europeans were making a deal with the king and how that all went down. Yeah.
So go watch it. It's on Netflix.
Based on a true story.
So let me get back to this property was power.
Okay.
Because this is how you know I'm mad. Because I'm just like, I know they took my great grandma's land. You can't tell me they didn't.
Yes.
And I know she probably had like a voter on there, and they still came in. So property was power. From slavery to redlining, the pattern was consistent. When Black Americans attempt to gain ownership, system shift to restrict it. Land equals leverage, ownership equals stability, property equals generational wealth. The deny of land after wasn't just a broken promise, it was a a deadline future. So now I'm gonna make a point. He was talking about privilege, right? So privilege is protected access, right? White privilege historically meant access to housing loan, safety within institution, and upward mobility without racial barriers. Black struggled meant navigating systems that were not designed with Black investments in mind. It wasn't about individual morality. It was about structure design. So what he was trying to say is, when we say white privilege, or when we say privilege, because I don't say white privilege, I say privilege.
Yeah, just
right?
privilege, because more than just white people can be privileged.
Exactly, all races can be privileged. But how he was saying to me was, oh, when you say privilege, you're being racist because you're saying that it's a white person, and I'm like, I'm not saying that white, privilege has a color. And then he was just like, I was like, privilege has no color.
It doesn't. You could have woke up. You could have been born in a rich family.
Yeah, and that's okay.
For generations, they've always been rich. Doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are.
Yes.
You were born with money, and you always have money. You've never been broke. So then, yeah, you got privileges.
Yes. So that's what he was trying to say, and I was just like, who's saying that we're talking about white people? We're not talking about white people. We're just saying, okay, you're privileged, and that's okay. Own it. Because if I was privileged, I'd be like, hell yeah, I am. But I'm not.
To do this.
Right. If I was privileged, I had things given to me. But I'm not going to deny.
Yeah.
That I'm privileged.
You just didn't have to work that hard.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying it has a color. I'm saying it has no color. Anybody. No color. So he was trying to make that point that because we say privilege, oh, you're talking about Caucasian white people. No, we're not. When I say privilege, you had different, access than I did.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. That's all.
But here's the part that we don't talk about enough. It's not just about what's happening in the past. It's about how the past compounds. When one group had 200 plus years of land, equity, business, capital, and inheritance, and another group had to fight for basic legal. Just
for basics.
The starting lines are not equal. We would never was
There's
equal.
No way we could have caught up.
No, we couldn't. Privilege becomes invisible when it's inherited. Struggles become visible when it's content. The real divide isn't black versus white. It's advantage versus disadvantage. Thank you, dropping the motherfucking mic now.
Yes.
So my point is to him. So when we ask why the worth gap exists, when we ask why ownership rates differ, when we ask why opportunities feel uneven, the answer isn't laziness. The answer isn't cultural. The answer is history. Layers into politics.
Yeah, it's our history. Yes. And this is why, again, I say, and we say, know your history. Because if you don't know your history, then you're not going to see the patterns that are... That basically history kind of, it bleeds into your future.
Yeah, it does.
If you are ignorant of what happened in the past, then how can you be prepared for some of the struggles that you will face in the future?
Yeah, I agree. You have anything for us?
Oh, yes. Oh. So, we're going to get into, because people, I've heard this a lot. I've heard it on social media. I've heard it around in conversation lightly, just you were not enslaved. Those were your ancestors. Yeah. Slavery has been gone. So what are you complaining about?
Yes, and he said that
as a black person, black woman. What is it? Slavery happened so long ago and you weren't even part of it. So what's the problem? Okay. We're going to talk about...
Please tell them the motherfucking problem.
We're going to talk about what the problem is today. Okay?
Right.
And we're gonna talk about the 8 problems.
Yes.
Okay. That we have. We're gonna talk about the problem we're having in the criminal justice system today.
Yep.
We're going to talk about in education, in healthcare, in housing, in employment, in economic inequality, media representation, and political disenfranchisement. We're going to talk about those 8 places where we got a problem today. And it affects me right now. It affects every African American person right now, today. And when we talk about this first one, the criminal justice system, this is where we're going to mention that episode that we saw.
Oh, with on Central
Park.
Oh my!
The conversation.
Let me talk about. I'm gonna play that music after because that. I swear to God, that's a good music.
And it made my eyes water.
It made mine.
It did. We're going to talk about this. Okay, so the criminal justice system, all right? And this is today. Let's make sure we're all aware that this is talking about what's going on right now, 2026. Police brutality and over-policing Black communities and disproportionately police incidents of police violence and brutality against Black individuals, often captured on video, are sadly common. And even when unarmed, Black individuals are more likely to be stopped, searched, arrested, or suspected of force by law enforcement. Mass incarceration of Black Americans and incarcerated at higher rates than other nationalities. This includes harsher sentencing, particularly for drug offenses, which disproportionately impact Black families. I mentioned how, like, we were watching Love After Lockup, and we were talking about how much time one of the people got that was Black. I think it was, like, for, like, they had, like, they were found having, like, a firearm and some drug possession, right? This person got, like, 6 to 10 years or something like that. They've been in jail. He gets out to see his boo. Then they go to the next one, right? And it's, like, this girl, she's probably, I think she was like Caucasian or something. And yeah, she is. And then she is talking about how she was in jail for 6 months for drug possession. 6 months for drug possession.
6 motherfucking months.
The other person had 6 years.
6 years.
And another person like 10 years. And not all of them were found with firearms. Some of them just drug possession with an intent to sell.
Yep.
10 years easy. You're talking about 6 months?
Come on now.
Let's talk about how that is not fair. We're talking, so basically, when it comes to the law enforcement, the conversations that basically have become normalized to have with your children, especially when you have an African American male child, is that you have to talk to them about when you get stopped by the police, make sure your hands, both hands, are visible on the dashboard, and that you speak calmly to the officer and do everything that he asks you to do and do not question, so that you will not become a victim of police brutality or worse, shot for possibly reaching for your ID, but they thought it was a gun.
Yep.
And also the fact that you have to talk to them about your presence, just your presence. Causes fear in people because you are a Black man. But some people feel uncomfortable about it. If someone is feeling that way, you have to basically kind of like, step away, make sure make them feel comfortable, or just completely, get out of that scenario altogether. So we were watching Central Park.
Yes.
And in Central Park, it's about this interracial family. The husband is Black and the wife is white, and they
have biracial kids.
They have biracial kids, and they live in Central Park, and he's like the park ranger for Central Park. So the little kid, he's like a little nerdy kid. Yes. He loves to do LARPing with his friends. He's only like 10 years old.
Yes.
So there's this little kid who dresses up, and he has his little sword, and he's like defeating the knights and things like that, and he's just kind of running around the park, just kind of like playfully playing.
Yeah.
He bumps into this white woman, and she's just like, oh my gosh, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. And he's polite, like, you want me to help you with that, because she dropped her.
And the father is with his friend is coming up and watching her son. His son trying to help this lady. He was like, oh, you dropped your bag, let me help you. And she's like, oh, you're trying to stab me.
He's trying to stab me with this sword. He has a weapon. He has a weapon. And she's like being super dramatic.
Yeah, so the father stepped in, and he said, ma'am, that is a play toy. He was just trying to help you. Here go your purse. Can you go on about your way? So his son didn't know what was going on. He didn't understand what was going on. So the son goes back and play. The father and his friend was like, "Are you gonna have that talk with him?
Have you had that talk?"
And he said
right
no.
There is what is sad to me.
Yes.
That this is like the talk. It's like you have the birds and the bees talk, and then you also have the talk of, "Hey son, you're a black man in society. You're looked at differently."
Yes. And he did not understand that. Why? Because he was so young.
He was
10. He was 10. He was a kid. He had a kid mind.
Yeah. He's just like thinking of, he's just like Arthur, you know?
Yes.
Like, and he's thinking of like the Knights of the Round Table. Like, he's not thinking of stealing someone's bag or purse, or assaulting someone.
Right, exactly. Any more?
Oh no, if you want to play the song, because I have more to talk about, but it's not about that. So play the song.
Okay. Because this song is crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't care if Facebook take it down. I don't care. But this song it's a good song.
Yeah.
Why she acting threatened? What was she expecting? She's living in the city. She should be used to weapons. She should be used to knives. She should be used to gauntlets. It's just a battle axe. Here's your problem. This is something you can put your money on. Be a different reaction if he was honey blonde. He is a black boy and not a paper tiger. If his name was Tyler, his features were lighter. You got some nerve running from a young nerd. I'll have you know that your suspicions are unearned. And this is absurd. And this should even continue to be a concern. You're more than likely to be hurt by a sunburn than my son's sword. Somehow he's in the wrong, and for what for? Let's put it all on the tape, make it above board. Instead of taking little black boy's joy, I'm replaying it again and again. Dang, it keeps happening again and again. Dang, how could this happen? I keep replaying it again and again. In my mind, it keeps happening again and again. In the world, it's what happened. Trying to take my little black boy's joy. So now we gotta talk about other people's thoughts on how you walk. Don't get to be yourself, cause you gotta care about the color of your skin. Having people scared because that person over there, if they call the cops, it could be hands in the air. Then it's warning shots. We had a whole plan. Let him be a boy, not a grown man. This stuff gets me so mad. See, this right here is a perfect example of why I want to raise my kids in a literal castle, so they can be superheroes or pterodactyls, pretend to be wizards without being dazzled. This is everybody's part. There shouldn't be different rules for everybody dark, and everybody should look in everybody's heart, because nobody is free and everybody loves. So to his sword, hold it if you want to. Not gonna poison the well, cause I don't want to. I'm not going to. I shouldn't have to. Take a little black boy's joy. I'm replaying it again and again. It keeps happening again and again. How could this happen?
Yeah. That song.
That song. I give him props.
Yeah. But this is real life.
Yes.
This is today. People are having these conversations right now with their children. And we, as African Americans, are having this conversation. Nobody else is. Why? Because it's unfair. It's not equal. In law enforcement, we are looked at differently. In education, we are looked at differently. Disparities in school funding. Schools in predominantly black neighborhoods are often underfunded compared to schools in wealthier, predominantly white neighborhoods. Why? Because they want us to be dumb. They don't want us to figure out that we are all human beings and we should all be treated fairly, so that if I want to be president, if I want to be the queen, like, I have that right just as much as anybody.
Exactly.
You know? Like, you can be whatever you want just as much as, but they don't want that. They don't want that because that's what was in place in our history. And they're trying to keep it that way even today. It's just not blatantly seen like it was before. In healthcare, Black people are often experience worse health outcomes when white people are including higher rates of chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease. These disparities are linked to both unequal access to health care and effects of systemic racism, including the stress of discrimination.
Yes.
Maternal mortality. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women, even when factors like education and income are accounted for. There is this in our history where they felt like, oh, we have a higher pain tolerance.
Yeah.
Like we can tolerate different things, so then we don't need other types of care to help with that. And that was a myth.
Right.
It's a myth.
It is.
In housing, like Skittles mentioned, the redlining, house discrimination, black renters and potential homeowners often face discrimination from landlords and real estate agents who may refuse to rent or sell to them, mainly based off of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
In employment, there are wages gaps.
Yeah.
There's wages gaps where black workers earn less than their other white counterparts, even when controlling for education and experience. Even when we still went to school, we've got the degrees.
We did the work.
We're still going to be offered less in our wages. Job segregation. Black people are often overrepresented in low-wage, low-status jobs and underrepresented in higher-paying professional jobs, like lawyers, doctors.
Yep.
There's not enough black people in those fields. Politicians. Economic inequality. Access to credit. Black Americans are less likely to have access to credit. And when they do, they often face higher interest rates compared to their other counterparts. Yeah, when we're trying to just get credit cards and loans, we're getting placed in this little, like, where it's like we're getting higher rates when really we should be offered the same.
Yeah.
Media representation. Oh my gosh. This one sometimes makes me mad because it's like sometimes things are funny and then sometimes it's not. Like you can look at a comedy and be like, okay, well that's funny and stuff, but you have to also be able to see that, like, that's not talking about a whole race of people.
Yeah.
At the same time, Stereotypes. The media often portrays black people in stereotypical and negative ways, such as the angry black man or the angry black woman.
And in my job, I was called the angry black woman.
Angry black women. We're not always angry.
At all.
Okay. Or welfare queen. Not all black people are on welfare.
Wasn't on welfare.
No.
I did have no assistance for the government.
No, I am not on welfare. Was my mama on welfare?
Yes.
Was we back those people food stamps?
Yes.
But I grew up and I did not want that for myself.
We did not
want that for ourselves, and we are not on welfare. Okay. Also, the portrayals can share public perceptions and reinforce harmful biases. Lack of representation. Even today, black people are underrepresented in many areas of media, especially in leadership roles as protagonists in films and television. When they are represented and the portrayals may be one-dimensional or limited. I love when someone talks about like black people just being in empowering roles, like where we are doctors, we are lawyers, we are nurses, defense attorneys, like we're doing big things, like we, and I feel like I think we need to highlight that more so that we can change these stereotypes around. Within the political side of things, voter suppression. There have been significant efforts to suppress black voters, such as voter ID laws, purging of voter rolls, and restrictions on early voting. These tactics disproportionately affect black voters. And gerrymandering. In some states, district boundaries are drawn in ways that dilute the political power of black communities, making it harder for them to elect representatives of their choice. I mean, there's not a lot. When you think about the percentage of African Americans in political seats, it's small. It's very small. The effects of systemic racism compound over time, leading to generational disparities in wealth, education, health, and other opportunities. It creates an environment where black people face constant barriers to success, whether in school, at work, in healthcare, or within the criminal justice system. However, movements like Black Lives Matters, or how we talked about the Black Panther movement, other advocacy groups are working towards addressing systemic racism through policy reformation, education, and social activism. These movements aim to increase awareness, foster greater empathy, and drive change in institutional practices that perpetrate racial inequalities. The fight against systemic racism is ongoing. While progress has been made, it requires sustained effort at all levels of society to dismantle deeply rooted systems of oppression that were placed during the times of our ancestors, basically. Yeah.
Wow.
That's all I have to say about that droplet.
She dropped the mic. But this episode, like, it was just about educating other people. Like that man that came to me at work and tried to educate me. But I'm sorry, you can't educate me. Because my mama educated me.
Exactly.
I educated myself. The black books educated me. So you cannot come to me and talk about the nonsense he was talking about. Yeah. And I wasn't, what's crazy is I wasn't mad. Because I like to hear other people's point of view.
It can be a conversation.
So it was that. Mm-hmm. But I know if I would have said something, it would have came confrontation.
Oh yeah.
It would have came.
They'd be like, "Oh, here we go.
Here we go again." Yeah. Right. Like it would have. So I just listened to what he said, and then I called Shy, and I was like, "Girl."
And I was like, girl. Oh, we getting this research and we doing this podcast.
Yes. And the only reason we do our research is just in case we forgot about something or something like that.
And we want to be on point.
Yes, okay, that too. Because a lot of people don't know that. Like how he said that, if you put up a fence, they would never came in. That's a motherfucking lie.
Not true.
They came in full force on them.
Burnt the fence down.
Exactly.
It was like, what fence?
Right. Exactly. So, this was not an aggressive, because I feel like we sounded aggressive.
We sound aggressive,
but no, this was just to educate.
We're passionate about this because we are black people.
Yes.
Okay? This is Black History Month, but let's face it, we are black 365 days of the year. Okay?
We are.
And this struggle is an everyday 24/7 kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay? But even though with all of those disparities and inequalities, do I hate other minorities? No. Because my mama raised me to be as welcoming as the United Nations. Okay? All are welcome here.
Exactly.
However, I am very well aware of the fact that I myself am not always welcomed everywhere.
Exactly. Same goal here. That's going to wrap up today's episode of the BarTableTalk. If this conversation spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Mm-hmm. Follow the podcast on Spotify, and our YouTube, Facebook, leave a review and stay connected. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.
Peace.